Manchester United is now experiencing its worst trophy drought in 4 decades, with the previous significant victory coming in 2017. After winning the FA Cup in 1977, they had to wait till 1983 to experience their next triumph, a second FA Cup success. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at how and why MU's trophies stopped for 5 years. So make sure to stay to the end of the video, subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell to stay updated with all of our stuff, I guess. The last piece of the puzzle. That was Jose Mourinho's assessment of Manchester United's victory over Ajax in the Europa League final in May 2017. He emphasized that United was now a team that had taken home every football-related award. The triumph in Stockholm that evening was meant to be the start, not the conclusion. As Mourinho famously indicated with his fingers, it might have been their 3rd trophy of the year. But it was also what has been called his most challenging season as a manager. United struggled at times, coming in 6th place in the Premier League. But at the time, it appeared like even a sputtering version of the Red Machine could produce silverware. It was acknowledged that United needed to improve, and it was assumed that they would. However, the 5th anniversary of that victory passed without any mention of it becoming the club's most recent prize. Since then, Liverpool has won 6 trophies. Manchester City has 11. How did that happen? How was this allowed to happen? It's a story about hubris and self-harm in a club hampered by too many and too few voices. The issues ranged from recruitment to ownership, and the answer, it's unclear if it's been located as of yet. Just 4 years earlier, United had won the Premier League, and now they're taking home a European Championship. Despite all the controversy surrounding David Moyes and Van Gaal's difficulties, the doldrums might still overcome rather quickly. After winning the trophy and securing a spot in the Champions League for the upcoming season, attention turned to the future. Mourinho claimed that Ed Woodward had his hands on his wish list for more than 2 months. After the triumph, it was a snappy remark that alluded to the tension behind the scenes that was already growing after less than a year on the job. Woodward had been aware of his request for months, which was a pointed comment that suggested no progress had been made. 4 players were on Mourinho's list of summertime targets. United ultimately sent 3. Benfica's Victor Lindelof was acquired. After scoring 25 Premier League goals for Everton the previous season, Romelu Lukaku joined the team. Nemanja Matic was a Chelsea player. It was still a significant transfer commitment, it was more than £150 million, but history has not been kind to these kinds of choices. They didn't happen by accident. Some people didn't think it was so impossible. While United attempted to narrow the gap with its competitors, those competitors were widening it. Manchester City had difficulty playing the style of football that Pep Guardiola desired in his first season in charge. The fact that 3 of them, including Kyle Walker, were brought in at great expense shows how forcefully that was handled. Additionally, notable were City's additions of Bernardo Silva and Ederson as their new goalkeepers. With a record 100 points, they would go down on to win the Premier League that year. But a resurgent Liverpool would knock them out of the Champions League. The team of Jurgen Klopp has also been active. They acquired Mohamed Salah from Roma in 2017 of June for an initial £36.5 million. Although some question the £75 million price tag, Van Dijk's acquisition completely changed Liverpool. Many people thought that United's own winter business, in which the outstanding Alexis Sanchez was traded for Henrikh Mkhitaryan, was smarter work. As a result, Manchester United possessed 2 of the top 3 scorers from the previous Premier League season in January 2018. On the surface, Sanchez appeared to be the 4th player Mourinho had been looking for after missing out on Ivan Perisic in the summer, but Sanchez quickly established himself as a spectacular failure, scoring twice in 12 Premier League games that season, both of which came in victories against Huddersfield and Swansea at home. Mourinho continued by listing his 2nd-place finish in the 2017-18 campaign as one of his greatest accomplishments. However, the absence of a trophy and these transfer market setbacks weakened confidence. Despite the addition of Lindelof and Eric Bailly, the quest for a centre-back remained as the cost of Harry Maguire increased due to Liverpool's acquisition of Van Dijk. As the outcomes declined and relationships deteriorated, the coach's criticism emerged as a common thread. Any sensation of forward motion was gone. Jose Mourinho was fired. The selection of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as interim manager was motivating. The team was renewed and they could play freely once again. The fan favorite's first 8 games under command were victories, but his unexpected triumph set up his next major error. In his first 17 games, Solskjaer only suffered 1 defeat, a first-leg loss to Paris Saint-Germain that miraculously overturned in the French capital. This fleeting triumph gave them new hope that the club's infamous structure and recruitment problems were unrelated. These issues had been resolved by choosing the best guy to lead them. He realized that the club and the clouds were gone. The agreement was finalized later that month, but by then, United had already lost to the FA Cup and had been eliminated from the Champions League. One of their last 9 games was a victory. After the initial bounce, a lack of substance and strategy started to raise questions. In trying circumstances, Solskjaer had helped to forge some unity, but more time on the practice field and a summer in which he received support on the transfer market would put other qualities to the test. Given the caliber of the championship clubs, Solskjaer's finishes of 3rd in the first of his 2 full seasons as manager and 2nd in the following aren't particularly disparaging of his performance. He created excellent tactical victories in crucial games with a counter-attacking strategy, but there was never really any indication that United was poised to displace their competitors because there was no overarching concept of a playing philosophy. Additionally, there was no award for inspiring the group or satisfying their want for more. The 2019-20 season saw the 3 semifinals, ending in defeat. The next year, Solskjaer went all the way in the Europa League but lost his 3rd quarterfinal and 4th semifinal. Despite being hot favorites to defeat Villarreal, they fell short in a prolonged penalty shootout. Rafael Varane, Jadon Sancho, and Cristiano Ronaldo should have improved United after their additions. Instead, they disintegrated. Although it was a significant investment, the additions looked to fit different playing styles, and the coach had no clear plan for how to use them. Solskjaer might have remained on 2 years longer than necessary if Mourinho had been hired 10 years too late. But the club's continued lack of good planning was evident when the manager was fired in November, following the year's last international break. United found themselves looking for a new coach in a market where the top coaches were hard to come by. It was demonstrated by the choice to contact Lokomotiv Moscow's sporting director, Ralf Rangnick. Talk of a consulting position after the season ended sounded evasive. The goal of his interim management was to ensure the Champions League qualification and possibly put an end to the trophy drought until the summer. They again succeeded in neither. Rangnick would lament the lack of investment in January in the future, but his situation was unpleasant right away. Was he here to treat the issues or just to identify them? The frequent admission that he had yet to consult with Erik ten Hag after the Dutchman had been named the new leader undercut his much-touted consulting function, which has since been abandoned. All throughout, there was a sense of another season wasted. There's currently 5 of them, from Mourinho to Solskjaer, lurching. A meeting with Rangnick, Ten Hag, the leader of Ajax, chose in 2017, is now speaking. The final component of the puzzle? United has been here before. The real problems lie further inside the club's hierarchy. In addition to the Glazers, Manchester United supporters have grown increasingly confused and displeased with the club hierarchy over the previous 10 years. Until recently, the lack of a director of football had frequently been questioned as clubs throughout Europe and in the United States made behind-the-scenes improvements. United just appointed Darren Fletcher as a technical director and John Murtough as the team's first football director last year. Although Richard Arnold is now in charge of administrating the club, Ed Woodward is largely to blame for the ongoing uncertainty. In May 2013, Woodward succeeded David Gill as executive vice chairman. Woodward, who left the team in February, assisted in Glazer's acquisition of the organization in 2005. The 50-year-old, an investment banker and accountant, was in charge of recruiting and firing multiple managers and in supervising more than £1 billion in inbound transactions. Erik ten Hag is now the formal successor to Woodward as United's manager. That might yet turn out to be a brilliant move, but Ralf Rangnick hasn't been shy about publicly criticizing the club's recent mistakes. Unless the club isn't ready to admit their inner problems and find proper solutions for the same, they'll never wake up from their slump. And with that, we've come to an end. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Until next time.